are going to learn the mobilization for cervical, thoracic and lumbar spine separately. So before that we have to just revise our hand placement. So if we are mobilizing the spinous process, that will be for your flexion and extension. So for your flexion and extension, we have to keep our hand on the spinous process. So this is if I'm keeping like this, so that will be your central PA. Central PA means if you are doing from posterior to anterior side, so this is your central PA. If I'm doing unilaterally, so if I'm doing only for one side, take for one. So if I'm doing here and I'm keeping my one thumb here and another here and I'm just mobilizing, so that is called unilateral PA. Okay, so this one is central PA, this one is unilateral PA. For unilateral PA, I came this side, so we may call that transverse glide also. And for big area like thoracic and lumbar region, you guys can also use your thumb or your hand. So for your hand, you can see that this is your pisiform bone, so you can just keep like this as your pisiform bone, and you just make O from another hand. Keep your index finger, and first this is your index finger, so we have to just keep like this. So this is your hand placement for lumbar and thoracic, so that you can just give if you are going for flexion, so up and away pressure. If you are going downward, so that for extension, down and inward pressure for extension. And you can also use your hand. So if I want to mobilize this side, so I will stabilize on the left side and I'm gonna mobilize on right side. So for that, let's take T10 or T11. So if I want to mobilize for flexion T10, so I'm gonna stabilize T11 and I'm gonna mobilize T10 like this way. Okay, this is for your flexion. Okay guys, so from your head position you can notice that flexion is occurring. Just notice from the head position, see I'm mobilizing here and your spine is moving, right? So this is your flexion glide. Okay, so here if I want to do for C0 and C1, so I cannot give a mobilization directly here, because C1 this is your vertebra, so here it don't have the spinous process, it has only transverse process. So for that we have to only mobilize your transverse process. And if I want to mobilize C2, C3, flexion restriction is there. Let's consider flexion restriction. If patient is having flexion restriction, what I can do for them? I have to stabilize C3, mobilize C2. So cervical area is there. So I'll just, if I want to give flexion restriction, I'll come here and I'm gonna give the pressure like this. So that will be for your cervical spine flexion. If I want to give extension, I have to come back and give them pressure from on the C2 vertebra, because for cervical flexion restriction we have to give mobilization on superior vertebra, and if extension restriction is there we have to mobilize inferior vertebra. Okay, so this is done for your cervical vertebra. Let's take example for your cervical C5 C6 region restriction. If patient is having cervical flexion restriction in C5 C6, so for flexion and extension restriction we are going to mobilize C5 because that is superior vertebra, and we are going to stabilize C6 because that is inferior vertebra. So we just have to mobilize your C5 and stabilize your C6. Okay, same thing we can apply for your thoracic spine also. But let's take an example for rotation restriction also. So if I have right side restriction, so for that C7 and T1 restriction is there. C7 and T1 right side rotation restriction is there, and left side bending restriction is there. So for that patient, I'm gonna mobilize from the left side, left to right. Okay, here I can mobilize from left to right. So here your facets will open and the rotation restriction will go. And if I want to do for thoracic mobilization, so let's take an example of T6, T7. So for that we have to just get a brush up of your rule of 3. So for T1, T2 and T3, your spinous process are at the same level of your transverse process and the facets orientation is 60 degree. For T4, T5, T6, your spinous process is 1/2 level below of your transverse process. And for T7, T8, T9, 1 full level below of your spinous process to the transverse process. So now we are going to learn the mobilization for T5, T6 level. Let's take example of T5, T6 level. So if patient is having restriction of T5, T6 flexion restriction, so I'm gonna mobilize T5 because I want to open the restriction. So for open restriction or flexion restriction, mobilize superior vertebra and stabilize inferior vertebra. I'm gonna stabilize inferior vertebra and going to mobilize the superior vertebra. Okay, do like this. Okay, and if we take another example for rotation, so let's take T8, T9 problem. So for that we have to if patient is having T8 rotation restriction, so T8, T9 level is there, I'm going to mobilize the superior vertebra means T8 and going to stabilize the inferior one means T9. So here I'm going to place my hand on the transverse process and just going to mobilize on left side. So right side rotation will occur. Okay, so this is about your thoracic vertebra. If we want to learn for lumbar spine, let's take L2, L3 level. Okay, so if patient have a restriction for L2 and L3 level extension, so for that patient either I can do one thing, I can use my palm or I can use my thumb, but here I want to use my palm, so I'm going to use for L2, L3. So if extension restriction is there, so I have to mobilize the L3 vertebra and stabilize L2 vertebra. This is your L2 vertebra, right? Here you guys can see this. This is your L2 vertebra. This is your L3 vertebra. I'm going to stabilize L2 with my another hand and I'm gonna mobilize L3. Here you guys can see that I'm gonna mobilize L3. If I want to improve extension, so I have to give downward and inward pressure. Okay, like this. And let's take L2, L3 for rotation. So if I want to improve rotation, so I have to if I want to improve left rotation, let's take the left rotation. So I have to come on the opposite side. I have to mobilize L2 right side and that will improve rotation on your left. Okay, so this is all about your spinal mobilization. So just have a quick review. Remember that if you are giving central pressure, central PA, so that will be on your cervical spinous process, and that is for flexion and extension restriction. And if the patient is having problem unilaterally, means if he is having if his spinous process is turned to the left side and he has left side bending and right side rotation, is if he is bending left side, his spinous process is on left side, and he has already bent to the left side, so rotation is on right side. Here you guys can notice that this is your right side rotation. So if right side rotation is there, so how you guys can improve this? This is T2-3 level. So either I can go this side, this is right side rotation is there, so either I have to mobilize from left side. Okay, and same way we can apply for downward vertebra also. Like if patient is having segmental restriction and couple motion is also affected, so let's take patient is having T7 flexion restriction, means he has flexion restriction and the vertebra is turned on the right side for flexion, and right side bending is there. So if right side bending is there, your vertebra will rotate on the left. So here vertebra is rotated left, that's why I'm gonna mobilize from right side. Okay guys, let's take an example for combined restriction. If patient is having problem with unilateral problem, he has extended on the right side and same side he has problem, means right side bending, right side extension. So that time your vertebra on the left, it will rotate. Okay, so what you are going to do for this guy? I will do a bit flexion, means I will tell him to do slouch, and then he has stuck in right side. Okay, so right side bending and left side rotation. So I'm going to do one thing for this patient. Here you guys can notice that the facets, it is closed here and it's open this side. So here this is your extension, right side extension, right side bending problem. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell that patient that move a bit in flexion position, so that will open your facets, and I'm gonna tell him to do side flexion to left. So if I'm doing side flexion to left, you can notice that the vertebra here, it is opening and that is rotating towards the right side. Okay, so this is my way to mobilize that patient. He was having problem on the right side extension and he stuck in like right side bending and left rotated vertebra. So I just make him in flexion and I have side bending to the right side. So here you guys can notice that it is opening here and rotating this side, right side, so that will create a gap here and the patient problem will be corrected like this way. Okay, so same way this thing we can apply for flexion. For example, let's take this is your, let me show you guys. This is your flexion of your patient. Okay, this is your anterior view. Same thing I am gonna turn for you guys. This is your T8, T9, and here patient is having flexion, means opening problem, right? So here patient vertebra has stuck in flexion, right side bend. You guys can notice this is a bit flexion, right side bending, and this is in flexion. If patient is turning on the right side, so that time you can notice that the rotation will occur on the left side. Okay, so for that patient, what we can do, if he is stuck on flexion, so that time I'm gonna tell that patient do a bit good extension, little bit extension, and I'm gonna tell him to side bend on the opposite side, so side bend on the left side and rotate towards. If I'm side bending to this side, so the vertebra will rotate on right side, and I have a flexion problem, so I'm gonna mobilize it and I'm gonna open the restriction. Okay, and if he is having extension problem, so I'm gonna press it. So superior for flexion, inferior for extension, just remember that. Now we are going to see cervical spine mobilization. So if we are going for C0, C1 or occipito-atlantal joint, so we need to know about orientation. So facets are oriented at 45-degree angle, and the spinous process are at this same level of the transverse process in C2 to C7 vertebra, but here we can notice that this is C1 vertebra, so we don't have a spinous process in C1 vertebra. So just remember that for C1 vertebra especially, we don't have spinous process. We don't have a spinous process, so this is not applied for C1. I have marked this here because most of the people or most of the students, they will do the mistakes during their examination, and they will speak that they have to mobilize spinous process. So we don't have a spinous process in C1 vertebra. Remember that movement available are forward bending, backward bending and nodding plus side bending. So if we are doing flexion or open restriction, so we have to stabilize inferior vertebra and mobilize superior vertebra. So for flexion, we are going to stabilize articular pillar of C2 and mobilize C1 transverse process. Why? Because we don't have spinous process. Let's see for C0, C1 extension or backward bending or closing restriction. For occipito-atlantal joint, extension and side bending are equally limited. Here again we don't have a spinous process, so we don't have spinous process, and facets are oriented at the 45-degree. So hand placement should be on C1 vertebra for mobilization and C2 for stabilization. So we are stabilizing C2 articular pillar, mobilizing C1 transverse process, and this is only applied for C0, C1. Otherwise for extension we are going to mobilize inferior vertebrae. Let's take example for the rotation. So here also we can notice that if we have right side restriction, we are going to mobilize on opposite side. So if we have C0 restriction, C0 C1 restriction, so we are going to stabilize C2 articular pillar and mobilize C1 transverse process from left side, because here side bending and rotation are in different direction. So rotation to left, side bend to right will occur. Let's have a look for C1 to axial joint mobilization, and for that side bending and rotation are equally limited than extension. Your facets are oriented at 45-degree. C1 not have a spinous process, but C2 has spinous process. Okay, So for that, spinous process are at the same level of your transverse process. So we are going to for flexion open restriction, we are going to mobilize superior vertebra and stabilizing inferior vertebra. So mobilizing C1 and stabilizing C2, and hand placement should be on the transverse process for flexion, because we are going to mobilize C1, so that has only transverse process. So that's why I kept transverse process here. And now we are going to learn extension restriction. So for extension, we can do that like this is your C1 vertebra, this is your C2, and here you can notice that if we want to give extension or closing restriction, so for that we have to mobilize inferior vertebra and stabilize superior vertebra. Okay, so we are going to mobilize C2, so we have to keep transverse process bilaterally to mobilize downward, or just the spinous process, and stabilize C1 articular pillar. Let's have a look for rotation restriction. So for rotation restriction, here side bending and rotation is in different direction. Rotation to left cause side bend to right. If patient is having right rotation restriction, so I'm going to keep my hand on left side of the transverse process. So here the superior vertebra is C1, so I'm going to mobilize C1 transverse process unilaterally, and I'm going to keep my mobilizing hand on C1 transverse process on left side, and I'm going to stabilize C2. So here I can note it down for you guys, like here C1 transverse process unilaterally left hand placement. Let's see for C3 to C7 cervical vertebrae. So facets orientation 45 degree. Spinous process are at the level of the transverse process. Forward bending, backward bending, side bending and rotation are available. So for flexion or open restriction, hand placement should be on superior vertebrae for mobilization and stabilization on inferior vertebra. Just remember that. Same way for extension, hand placement should be on superior vertebra for stabilization and mobilization of inferior vertebra. For example, here I can draw for you guys. Let's see that if your C3, C4 is affected, so for C3, C4, this is your transverse process, and if I have problem with extension, so that time I'm going to stabilize C3 and mobilize C4. Now we are going to see rotation, because rotation is occur in same if one side rotation, opposite side bending will occur, so that may be coupled with flexion or extension pattern. For example, patient may complain that I have problem with right extension, right side rotation is limited and left side bending is limited. So like that way patient will complain to you guys. So for that, just remember that if we have a problem on right side, if right side is limited, we have hand placement on the left side, so we have to mobilize on left side, so that will rotate on right side. Okay, right side rotation. So we have to give mobilization of superior vertebra left side, and it will rotate towards your right side. Now we are going to learn for C7 and T1. For C7, facets are 45, for T1, facets are 60 degree, and for both of them, spinous process are at the level of the transverse process. So we can notice that forward bending, backward bending and side bending rotation motions are available. So if patient have flexion restriction, where we can stabilize and where we can mobilize. This is C1, C7 and T1. So in this we can notice that if we want to improve flexion or open restriction, so we have to mobilize superior vertebra. So we have to keep hand on spinous process of C7 vertebra and we have to stabilize T1. So we have to stabilize inferior vertebra, that is T1. For extension, that is exactly opposite. We are going to mobilize T1 spinous process and we are going to stabilize C7. For rotation, if you want to improve right side rotation, so hand placement should be on the left side articular pillar or transverse process of C7 vertebra. Okay, let's run rib mobilization. So if patient is having inspiratory dysfunction, so that time your rib will during biomechanics we learned ribs will go up and out, but here it is stuck in up and out position, so patient is not able to exhale properly. What we can do for this patient? We can give here we can give, let's take the different color for this so that will be easier for us to learn. If we give superior and anterior mobilization, so in inspiratory phase we gave superior and anterior moves, so that will increase range of motion and inspiration, and patient, if inspiration is good, then patient can take expiration easily. So superior and anterior mobilization we can give. This is indicated to increase range of motion, decrease pain, and for rib 2nd to 7th we can increase range of motion and bucket handle inspiration. Same way, if expiratory dysfunction is there, means patient is not able to inspirate properly. Their rib is in expiration, rib will come down, so rib is stuck in down position. So for that patient we can give mobilization in inferior and medial direction. So if we are giving mobilization like this in inferior and the middle direction, so that time they can easily able to take inspiration. We have to give mobilization in expiratory phase. This is indicated especially for first rib elevation patient, like patient have rib elevation that may lead to DOS. So for that patient this is indicated. For rib 2 to 7 increased range of motion in pump handle expiration. So this is just the basics of rib mobilization. Let's learn mobilization for T1, T2, T3 and T12. So if T1 and T3 plus T12 spinous process are the same levels as our transverse process or corresponding the body. Here the facet oriented 60 degrees and the moment available flexion, extension, side bending or rotation. So if patient is having rotation and side bending, it may couple with flexion or extension. So if we have right side limitation, so we have to use mobilization on left side of the superior vertebra. If it is flexion and if it is extension, we have to use inferior vertebrae. Let's take an example for T2, T3 flexion mobilization. If patient is having T2 and T3 flexion problem, so that time we have to stabilize inferior vertebra means T3 and mobilize superior means T2. For extension we have to mobilize inferior means T3 and stabilize superior means T2. Let's learn mobilization for T6, T4, T5, T6 and T11. So for that, spinous process are 1/2 level below to your corresponding body or your transverse process. Facet oriented 60 degrees, moment available flexion, extension, side bending and rotation. Here I'm gonna take example for T5 open restriction. So T4, 5 open restriction or flexion problem is there. So for that I have to mobilize superior means T4 and mobilize inferior means T5 vertebra. Same way for close restriction, I have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is T5, and stabilize superior means T4. So for that, this is cross flexions, so I have to keep my hand placement on the spinous process. For T5, T6 open restriction, here this is T5, this is T6. For open restriction means flexion. So for that, I'm going to mobilize superior vertebra, that is T5, and I'm going to stabilize inferior vertebra, that is T6. Here for closing or extension restriction, so for that I have to stabilize superior vertebra, and I have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is T6. So this is just about mobilization of your T4, T5, T6 level open and closing restriction. Let's learn mobilization for rotation in T4 to T6 and T11. Orientation of facet is 60 degrees. Spinous process 1/2 level below to your transverse process. If patient is having, let's consider T4 5 level. So if right side rotation limitation is there, so for that we have to mobilize T4 transverse process from left side. Same way, if we have left rotation limitation on T5 6 level, let's consider here T5 6 level, left rotation is limited, so we are going to mobilize T5 from right side on the transverse process. If we have limitation of T6, T7 and right side limitation is there, so we have to mobilize T6 from left side. Especially we have to keep hand on transverse process. And if we have T11, 12 right rotation limitation, so we have to mobilize T11 from the left side. Let's learn mobilization for T7, T8, T9 and T10. Spinous process are 1 full level below to your transverse process. Facet is oriented on 60 degree. Let's take T7, T8 open or flexion restriction. So for that we have to mobilize superior vertebra, that is T7. For T7, T8 extension, we have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is T8. For T8 and T9 open restriction, we have to mobilize superior vertebra, that is T8. And for T8, T9 extension or close restriction, we have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is T9. For T9, T10 open restriction, we have to mobilize superior vertebra, that is T9. And for extension, we have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is T10. So for all this, we have to keep our hand placement. For this is your hand placement, so we have to keep hand placement on your spinous process. Let's learn rotation mobilization for T7, T9, T10. Spinous process are 1 full level below of your transverse process. Facets at orientation 60 degree. And let's learn for the rotation limitation. For T7, T8, if I have rotation limitation on right side T7, T8, I'm going to mobilize left side T7 on the transverse process. If I have limitation of T8, T9 from left side, in this diagram we can notice that here limitation from the left side, so I have to mobilize T8 from right side on the transverse process. And for right rotation limitation for T9 and T10, I have to mobilize T9 from left side. Let's learn for L1 to L4. If we are having unilateral restriction, use transverse process. If bilateral, use a spinous process. Or use if flexion extension restriction is there, so you have to use spinous process. And for the facet orientation, that will be in 90 degrees for in sagittal plane. Let's check for L1 to flexion or open restriction. So if the patient is having L1 and L2 flexion restriction, so we have to mobilize superior vertebra, that is L1. So we have to mobilize L1, stabilize L2. If we have extension restriction, so we have to mobilize inferior vertebra, that is L2. For L3, L4, we have to mobilize L3 for flexion restriction and L4 for extension restriction. And for limitation, if we have limitation for rotation, so if right side is limited, we have to give mobilization on the left side. Let's see L5S1 region. So if we have L5S1 region, facet orientation 90 degree, and if we have flexion restriction or open restriction problem, so this is L4 L5 level. If flexion restriction, we have to stabilize inferior vertebra, so that is L5, and mobilize superior, that is L4. So for open restriction, mobilize L4. For closed restriction, mobilize L5. And for L4-5 rotation on right, so if patient is having right and this is left side, so if the patient is having problem on the right side, we are going to mobilize L4 from the left side. And let's take for L5S1 restriction. So for that, if flexion restriction, open restriction, mobilize superior vertebra, that is L5, extension inferior vertebra, that is S1. And if we have a rotation problem, so if patient is having right side limitation, and that time we have to mobilize from the left side. So this is about mobilization concepts for thoracic and lumbar spine.
Thanks for watching, and for future videos don't forget to subscribe. If you have any doubts related to topics in physical therapy exams, please let me know in my comment section so I can make a series of the videos on that. Till that time, stay positive. Bye bye.